Hello genealogists, this is Craig and this is another video, just genealogy. And I've been very fortunate in that people keep asking me questions. And some of those questions, it takes me a few days to get to the answer, but this is one I got about 5 days ago on why can't I find a War of 1812 pension. I found the index, and on fold 3 you will find this kind of document. Now, it doesn't look like a normal War of 1812 pension envelope. And there's a reason for that. And so what could possibly be the reasons for why a widow would get a pension, but the pension would not be among the War of 1812 pensions? Think about that for a while we go through some of this. So this is ADIE, Addie, widow of James A. Skinner, Private 8th Regiment Infantry. And usually when you don't see a state, that means that it's U.S. infantry. So whenever I see somebody who is in the regular army, I'm going to go on Ancestry or on Fold 3 and look at the Register of Enlistments. And here, if you look down about 4 names from the bottom, you'll see James A. Skinner, and you'll see that he's in Captain Crawford's 8th U.S., and he's a sergeant. And if you look farther over into the remarks, it says he died on October 30th, 1813. Well, that tells me a couple of things. So now I have more information. I know that he's in the regular army. I've been able to verify 8th U.S. Infantry, which is what's on the index card. And he died in the war. So that means that I should contact my friend Craig Scott, because for 35 years he's been working on War of 1812 dead. So when I go to that clown and I ask him about James Skinner, the information that he provides me is James A. Skinner is a private. Well, we know he's a sergeant based on the Register of Enlistments. But there is Captain Charles Crawford's company, 8th U.S. Infantry. So we have the right guy, because it's unlikely that there's more than one James Skinner in Captain Charles Crawford's company, 8th U.S. Infantry, or in the 8th U.S. Infantry. Now, it is possible, but this guy died on 30 October 1813, which matches what the Register of Enlistment says, and it's very unlikely that 2 James A. Skinners would be in the 8th U.S. Infantry and both die on the same day. So we think we have the right guy. KMD stands for Known Military Dead. It was a book written in 1955 by a Lieutenant Colonel Stewart, and it was the basis for my starting this database years ago, 35 years ago. Then there's the Secretary of War report done in 1835, volume 3, which deals with the Mid-Atlantic states, on page 672, and you can find that on Ancestry. And it says that his last name is Skinner with 1 N. And then there's something in the Treasury records in entry 591 on page 7. I don't, off the top of my head, remember what that is. And then for a guy who says he's from Virginia in some records, he's also appears in a couple of Maryland books relating to casualties and service in the War of 1812. And they say sergeant, because it's likely that they got their information from the Register of Enlistments. And you can be assured that this entry in the database has been updated to include the Register of Enlistments. But it does tell us that he has heirs Polly, Ann, and Harriet Skinner, and the guardian is Enoch Harding. Now, what are the circumstances under which we would have this index card but no pension? Well, widows are entitled to pensions in the 1870s, 1873. I think. It's in that time period. So she would have had to live to 1873 to get one of the longevity pensions, which would be gratuitous because we don't have to give widows pensions, we just do. So it's likely that she got a 5-year half-pay pension, but Skinner's name does not appear in the 1818 report of the 5-year half-pays. And that might be because she was paid off early and wasn't a pensioner at the time. That's one possibility. The other possibility is that she may have remarried and that her children under the age of 16, probably Polly, Anne, and Harriet, were the ones entitled to the pension because she, having married, was likely not eligible, because that's how it works. So who was Enoch Harding? Well, there's several opportunities for who Enoch Harding might be, and so the hypothesis of who Enoch Harding might be would be that he is the new spouse of Addie Skinner. And recognize the only reason we know her name is Addie is because of that index card. We don't have any information about Addie anywhere else. And come to think of it, I'll probably go back and update the database to put the pension number in and the fact that his widow's name was Addie. But we do know we have 3 heirs. These are likely children under the age of 16. Enoch Harding is either the spouse of Addie Skinner because she is remarried, the brother of Addie Skinner, and being a near friend, and if she's not remarried but she wants her guardian to be male, so she picks her brother, or it is just some court-appointed individual or somebody else. But I would go with looking for Addie Skinner being married to Enoch Harding to start with, and I would look for that marriage, which I haven't done because this isn't my family, and actually I don't care, because my interest is in letting you know that when you don't find the pension because you've got an index card that looks like this, that means that the soldier likely died in the war. The widow got a 5-year half-pay pension under the Act of 16 April 1816. She may have been paid off by the time the list was made for 1818, but it's more likely that before 1818 the widow remarried, and after that the children under the age of 16 were entitled to the pension. So, this has been Craig. This has been Just Genealogy, and another genealogical insight into why you can't find something when you expect to find it. So recognize that if you looked at this and you expected to find the pension, it's not that you have negative evidence, because the truth of the matter is, although you expected to find a pension, there wasn't going to be a pension because of the kind of index card that it was. One day I'll go through what an actual War of 1812 pension index card looks like when you've got a real one with a real pension inside of it, or two, and we'll just save that for another day. So this has been Craig. This has been Just Genealogy. Things are good. Keep sending me questions. I'll keep working on them as I can. But this is why you won't find that War of 1812 pension. By the way, those War of 1812 pensions are all on Fold 3. If you need for me to talk about them, just let me know. Be happy to. I have an ancestor who fought in that war. Which reminds me, I still have to do that Battle of New Orleans thing. I'm actually afraid to do the Battle of New Orleans thing because the law just changed about using stuff from national parks in videos on YouTube or anywhere else for that. Any money-making scheme, even if you're not making money. So the fines are pretty horrendous. So we're going to have to modify our behavior somewhat. I may just have to talk about the Battle of New Orleans. Too much fun. And I still have to do the Battle of Monmouth too. That one I can do because that's a state park. So y'all have fun. See you tomorrow.